G'day, it's Clive Roxing here. I've been making this wheel up, and it can get very complicated when you get sleeves and trying to put shafts and all that sort of stuff. The difficult part about this is I want to have a long screw protruding through the front of this, but the centre of the bearing is not the same size, so what's got to happen is it's got to sit into a little recess there, that one in the centre, and it's very finite. Gee, the measurements on this had to be dead accurate. It really had to be right on. You're really not much breathing room with this, and when it goes through the other side it'll have to have a sleeve in the back of the bearing for the seat of the bearing to sit on. So it's going to be very precise, and then I protrude it through the body, and then it'll probably have to have some sort of retainer in the frame itself to keep it nice and straight, because you can't just have it screwed like just with the screw on it, because it's going to kind of wiggle about like that if it gets loose. So I've got to have some sort of seat, like, you know, a bit like that, that's actually going to hold it all nice and rigid. And then I put the nut on the back and put a lock nut on it as well, and put a nylock, probably a nylock nut or something like that on it. I think I can do that with these screws. I think you can get them for that. But this is coming along nicely. That's the wheel. But when I put the bearing in, and that's the exact size of the bearing, I had to put tolerances in there. It's 8.2 millimetre per side, so it's 8.4 millimetre tolerance. That works with the little screws, but as you go up in size it tends to change a little bit. Yeah, it's tough to get this right, but that's what it's going to look like. I reckon it'll look alright. That doesn't look too bad. I'm not disappointed in that at all. Yeah, so it'll look pretty good. I wanted to put mags on it. It's a bit difficult at this stage, but I can still do it. So, you know, you can do this stuff, and people will be thinking, oh gee, I can't draw in 3D and that. Well, I mean, it took me 3 years to learn to draw in Blender. Nothing worthwhile is gonna be easy, and the fact is that the reason I'm doing this is to prompt people in Australia to get off your butt and start doing this now. Do you think that you can compete with this when you get, like, say if your kids are 17 now, by the time they get to 30, if they can do what I'm doing when they're 30, they can be on real good money, because you can, I mean, you're starting to see what you can do with this. I'm demonstrating what's possible. I'm almost in front of the Americans on design and test equipment. And the reason they can't do it is they can do a design if they understand the physics, but when you've got something that's testing the physics like Young's modulus, you have to understand the science, and they can't. Obviously business people do, but they've got business processes. So AES is not only working me in science, but you've got to have a knowledge of science to do what I'm doing. You can't just wing it. And they go great until they have to write down math, and you find it's all wiggly lines and dots and dashes, and oh, there's your answer there, it's 23x squared plus 42. Oh, what a lot of crap. If they don't give you a number, they know what the hell they're talking about. So yeah, it's coming along nicely. It's not a bad looking little wheel. I like that. That's cool. I want to put a little I want to put a 5-sparker mag in that. We'll just see how I go with that. Learning to read verniers. I hate metric verniers. Why? It's got two sets of numbers, so it only goes 5mm, and then it double layers the numbers. I'll try and get that in the light if you can see that. And so it goes round to 5, and then 5 and 10 double up on one another. Oh, here we go. I think I've got it there. And as you can see there, it goes round, and so 4 and 9 are in the same place, and you constantly got to look at the gauge on the verniers itself. In Imperial you don't really have to do that often, but on metric verniers, oh, I hate these things. And the tolerances in this are, well, you don't have a lot of elbow room. You maybe got 0.5 mm to mess around with, or even less than that. So you got to get this dead on. If it says 4.2, you got to make it 4.2. It can't be 4.3 or 4.1. It's got to be 4.2. Otherwise, you're not going to get the tyre on it and stuff like that. So these dimensions are very precise. You need a reasonably good printer, and yeah, you got to get it right. You're going to have to learn to read verniers. I'm lucky I did it for a job, but I used Imperial and I hated metric. I use that a lot now, and I'm getting used to it, but I still hated it. Oh, I can't stand the thing, and it's really difficult to get it right. I had to get absolutely strict dimensions with this to make that work. And it really gets tough when you start on little sleeves and stuff like that. It gets quite complicated. But that's it so far. It's looking pretty good. Clive Rocksinger, over and out.